What is up, chefs, foodies, and students? Welcome to Everybody Knows. I'm Anders. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. Today we're talking about apples. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This ingredient comes originally from the Kazakhstan region of Central Asia. It is currently well known in cuisines from Asia, Europe, and the Americas, but if you're investigating origins and cultures, be sure to research the time period as well, since many foods are brought to cultures from elsewhere or developed over time. To begin with, apples are one of the ingredients that has such a vast expanse of variety that it should, if it doesn't, have its own aroma wheel. This is one of those boundaries that is so painfully obvious between the edge of this aroma wheel and the beginning of a whole nother aroma wheel that I think we're gonna take a couple seconds throughout this video to touch on that concept. However, today we have three varieties of apples to compare. We have a Granny Smith, a yellow delicious family member called Lemonade, and we have a Gala or Gala apple. And one of the questions that we'll get into a little bit more is how many apples does it take to describe the fundamental apple aroma on the broadest spectrum. But let's get into these first. So when we're talking apples in general, what we want is a nice, clear, colorful skin that isn't blemished or browning or translucent or wrinkly. We want it to just be nice and firm and colorful with whatever color is appropriate for that type of apple. We also want the interior to also be uniform and clear, not transparent, but free of any blemishes or browning or excessive juiciness that would indicate rot or something has gone bad. So the Granny Smith flavor is notably green. It also has a little bit of a higher acidity, but in terms of aroma, from what I know, I think malic acid is the acid responsible for some of the green apple flavor. I believe I have done a tasting of not synthesized, but refined acids, and I believe it was malic acid that I actually identified oh, this smells like green apple. And so I believe whichever acids contribute to the tartness of the green apple also contribute to its aroma in some way. So the green apple definitely has this sort of greenness to it that's hard to describe any other way, that it's sort of I could see it playing kind of towards maybe a little bit of lime and or sorrel, as to name a sour green. It tastes similar to sorrel. Moving on to the Lemonade, that's the yellow delicious family member. Whoa! That is so different. Much more, almost like tropical fruity, kind of like lychee maybe. So good. Holy cow. Yeah, way more floral. Let's do some Gala apple. More subtle. I would say that aroma was definitely fruity floral and apple. So, suffice to say, all three of these apples share a lot of common ground in terms of what we would say is apple aroma. However, dramatically different. So I think it probably warrants more tasting and or an apple expert, if you are one, please let me know, to determine what is the minimum number of apples needed to describe the world of apple in a fundamental way. Let's have a quick look at the universal aroma wheel. This version of the wheel that we're looking at right now, we're gonna be in the category of fruity. And then there is a subcategory called crisp tree fruit. We're gonna go into that one. And this sort of has a few functions, and an error. I think these two categories need to extend to the top. Crisp tree fruit, sort of delineating a couple species and or families of fruit that have this shared quality, mainly pear and apple, with quince and pomegranate as a couple other inclusions that have this same quality of aroma because of the structure of their fruit. And so here we have apple, and we can see at the moment, I think we have like 9, 10 kinds of apples here. I am of the opinion that we probably only need about 4, but I am open to input and up for discussion on what this should look like, because some of these are even outdated. I couldn't even find a red delicious apple to taste today. I find that interesting because I know there's a huge community who think red delicious are actually not delicious, and I think that is being translated into some of the trends that we're seeing. I can't find a red delicious apple. That's fascinating to me. So I think this also probably has a cultural lens, that it's like, what apples does your country enjoy or have versus this other country and or part of the country? That there are literally thousands of kinds of apples, then there's got to be like a different mosaic of apples in every region that people appreciate for different reasons. I find that fascinating. So please give me your input on this topic. I would love to hear some other people's perspectives on apples and varieties of apples. I think in general the flavor of apples can be strong, but really isn't. I think like if you had an apple forward dish, then obviously you would taste it, but to incorporate apples, I don't think they lend a ton. So I think they're like a medium, maybe like a quiet flavor. Some apples are better suited structurally to be baked and cooked. Some are better for like juicing and or cider and or puree. I think if you're going for color, flavor, and physical like structure, those are sort of your 3 variables to consider when you're picking your variety of apple. Let's take a quick look in the flavor Bible. It suggests the following to pair with apples: allspice, almonds, baked goods, beets, blackberries, blueberries, brandy, butter, cabbage, caramel, cardamom, celery, cheese, cinnamon, coconut, cranberries, currants, desserts, fennel, figs, fruit, ginger, grains, honey, horseradish, kale, lemon, maple syrup, mint, mustard, nutmeg, nuts, pecans, oats, oatmeal, oranges, pears, plums, pumpkin, quince, raisins, rice, rosemary, and sage. Wow. Plenty to go off of. A versatile pairing, and so many different kinds of apples to pair with different things. And that about wraps it up. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about apples as you cook or as you eat, as well as the words that we use to describe them. Have you used apples as an ingredient successfully, or in a way that you think, yeah, that was so good? What was it? I want to know. Do you like the aroma of apples? Why or why not? And do you agree or disagree with what I've said here today? Any of the answers to those questions, throw them in the comments. I would love to read them. I hope this video made sense and got you thinking about the aroma of apples. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help me get an ingredient to feature in a video, please send me an email or private message. If you would like to join the Food Aroma Nerdery, feel free to subscribe and you'll see my latest vids. And if you would like a large poster or a digital copy of the Aroma Wheel that I've built, take a look in the description for links. Thanks so much. Bye.